Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Have you ever wanted to test your knowledge in a particular domain and just understand how much you know about that domain? Pick any domain, pick any topic, right? Could be being an electrician. Could be some technical certification that you might get from a tech company. Could be healthcare. I mean, the domains, the topics are pretty much unlimited, right? But you want to test yourself to see, maybe it's some type of exam or certificate program, and you want to know where you're at from a baseline perspective. And of course, there are test exams out there, but you're maybe upstream of that and just wanting to get a quick gut check. I wanted to share with you, and what I'm going to share with you today in this video is a really fun and fast way in order to have access to something like that you can create with help from AI, something that I did. So I'm going to take the next 5 minutes or so to explain what I did, and hopefully it helps you. So I've been considering taking a certification course in the field of cloud computing and AI. And this particular course is kind of the foundational course. It's not one of the more complex courses, but it's AWS Cloud Practitioner, right? So you learn all about Amazon's AWS Cloud services, the products, what they do, when to choose which product for what capability. Pretty straightforward. And a friend of mine and I are gearing up to obtain that certification. And having worked in the technology industry for 30 years and worked a lot with cloud technologies, or people who've worked for me have been the hands-on talent to do that, I've got a pretty good general knowledge of the cloud. So I wanted to understand, where am I at in being able to study for this AWS Cloud Practitioner exam? Do I have a lot to learn? Or do I have I accumulated a lot of knowledge already to where this could be done in 2 to 4 weeks? So what I was able to do actually while driving to work is use voice mode with one of these AI assistants. And the advanced voice mode is great because it gives you access to higher limits for using things like the voice mode. So you can just have a longer conversations. And so while I was driving, I asked the AI to set up a simulation quiz using the certificate program, the AWS Cloud Practitioner, as what I want to simulate, that exam. And so I asked it to create an exam using 10 questions from each domain. And then I explained a little bit about my personal conversational style, where I like the AI to frequently take pauses and ask if I have any questions or if I understood, because that's just the way my brain works. And then I also explained my goal. And that's super important when you're interacting with these AI assistants, is to give it a goal. Because once it knows your goal, it can actually orient itself to help you achieve your goal in some ways that maybe you weren't thinking of. And so for the Cloud Practitioner certification, there are 4 domains, and it created 10 questions for each domain. And then as I was driving and sitting in traffic, I was able to actually take these simulated quizzes. And it was a verbal thing. And I was able to assess that I was getting pretty consistently 85 to 90% correct answers in each of the 4 domains out of 10 questions. And I think that was a great way to use my drive time in a more productive way instead of just listening to music or an audiobook or listening to a YouTube channel, which are things I love doing. But what I can do is add into the mix to make my drive time more productive. Now, I will say that the AI assistant did a pretty good job of creating questions and quizzing me and then providing summary statistics after each quiz and giving me multiple choices for each question. However, I did also see that it started to conflate and confuse things, and I've had that happen a couple times. And I will say it starts to maybe call into question how truly accurate the quiz and simulation is. I know enough about the space to know when it's conflating things. But all in all, I would say it is worthwhile to turn your drive time and your time sitting on the freeway in traffic into something valuable. And I plan on producing more videos about this subject because I think there's a lot here. For all of you out there, it's so much broader than, technology or even quiz simulations. There's something that I've been doing a lot of is turning my commute and drive time into more valuable time by studying, thinking through big decisions I need to make. And I've been using AI to help me to do that. And I think in this case, for this cloud practitioner certification and the quiz simulation, what it did was help me to understand I'm not that far off from, in terms of the knowledge I need to know to pass the certification program. And I think it's going to make it more likely that I'm going to get that done quickly, because I've been able to run through a bunch of questions and know that I'm getting about 90%. So we'll talk more about this. I'll film more videos about this, but I wanted to just share that with you as an idea for you to think about for your drive time. If you're stuck in commutes, doing long drives, how can you use AI to help you to maximize your time? And it's super easy to do. It doesn't cost anything if you've got a smartphone. You can use the free mode on these AI assistants to get it done. So if you have any more questions about how I do this, what do I do, how it works, or tips that you might want, leave a comment and I'll answer. I'd be glad to help you out. If this video sparked an idea for you or caused you to actually turn your drive time into more valuable time to help you go after your goals, please hit the like button. And I encourage you to hit the subscribe button, please. That would really help me to get the word out about my YouTube channel, and will make it easier for you to follow along and continue to learn more about AI and how you can use it. AI is not a silver bullet. It's not the magic bullet to solve all your problems, but it is a valuable tool that is available to all of us, and it's going to increasingly show up more and more in our personal and professional lives. Hope you all have a good day. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.